Welcome to the Knowledge Bridge channel. Today we start a new series of A Day in the Life of a Librarian. In Section 1, Morning Routine, the day begins. Let's move into Section 1. The sun had barely risen, casting a soft glow through the curtains of the small apartment where Clara lived. She stirred awake to the sound of her alarm, the familiar melody urging her to rise. As a librarian, her days were often dictated by the rhythm of the library itself, a sanctuary of knowledge that thrived amidst the digital noise of the world outside. Clara stretched, feeling the weight of her responsibilities settle on her shoulders, and began her morning routine, brewing a strong cup of coffee while glancing through the day's agenda. In today's fast-paced digital world, the role of the library had evolved dramatically. Once seen as mere repositories of books, libraries had transformed into dynamic hubs of information and learning, essential for promoting digital literacy. Clara understood this transformation deeply. She had witnessed firsthand how the library served as a bridge for those navigating the complexities of technology. Patrons of all ages came through the doors, some seeking help with job applications, others looking to improve their computer skills, and many just wanting a quiet place to read or study. The library was more than just a collection of books. It was a community resource, providing access to reliable information and fostering a love for learning. As Clara sipped her coffee, she thought about the various digital resources the library offered. Online databases filled with academic journals, e-books, and audiobooks were just a few clicks away for patrons with library cards. Clara had spent countless hours curating these resources, ensuring they were accessible and user-friendly. The library's website was a bustling portal where patrons could reserve books, enroll in workshops, and even attend virtual events. Technology had become an integral part of the library experience, allowing it to reach beyond its physical walls. With her coffee in hand, Clara gathered her belongings and headed out, the crisp morning air invigorating her senses. Upon arriving at the library, she was greeted by the familiar scent of old books, mingled with the clean, modern lines of the new digital kiosks that had been installed. These self-checkout stations were a marvel of convenience, allowing patrons to check out their books quickly and efficiently, freeing up staff for more personalized interactions. Clara took pride in these innovations, knowing they made the library more accessible to everyone, especially those who might feel intimidated by the traditional checkout process. Before the library opened its doors to the public, Clara had a series of tasks to complete. The first was to check for any maintenance issues. She walked through the aisles, her fingers brushing against the spines of the books, feeling the pulse of the library. A flickering light caught her attention, and she made a note to report it to maintenance later. The library's ambiance was crucial for the experience it provided. Every detail mattered, from the lighting to the seating arrangements. Next, she ensured that the technology was functioning smoothly. The computers in the public area needed to be powered on and checked for updates. Clara moved from station to station, her heart swelling with pride as she saw patrons already using the resources, some lost in the pages of a book, others engrossed in their screens. The library was alive, buzzing with the quiet hum of learning and exploration. As she made her way to the Digital Resource Center, Clara prepared for the day's activities. Today was particularly exciting. The library was hosting a workshop on digital literacy aimed at seniors, helping them navigate the online world. She had prepared handouts, ensuring they were clear and concise, filled with step-by-step instructions on how to use email, social media, and search engines effectively. Clara believed that empowering individuals with these skills was vital in a world where misinformation spread like wildfire. The clock ticked closer to opening time, and Clara felt a familiar flutter of anticipation in her stomach. She loved this part of her job, the way each day brought something new. As the doors opened, patrons began to trickle in, some familiar faces, others new. Clara greeted them with a warm smile, ready to assist. The library was a safe space where questions were welcomed, and help was just a moment away. Throughout the morning, Clara moved seamlessly between tasks. She helped a young student find resources for a school project guided a newcomer through the online catalog, and set up the community room for the upcoming workshop. The digital literacy class was a highlight of her week. She relished the opportunity to connect with the community and share her passion for technology. As the workshop began, Clara felt a sense of fulfillment wash over her. The room filled with eager faces, some curious, others apprehensive. She started with the basics, explaining how to create an email account, the importance of strong passwords, and how to spot phishing scams. The questions flowed freely, and Clara encouraged everyone to share their experiences. It was heartwarming to see the participants engage with one another, exchanging tips and stories, bridging the generational gap through shared learning. After the workshop, Clara took a moment to reflect. The library was more than just a building filled with books. It was a community lifeline, a place where knowledge was democratized and where individuals could grow and thrive. The digital tools at their disposal enhanced this experience, but it was the human connection that truly made the library special. As the day wound down, Clara took a moment to tidy up the shelves, returning misplaced books to their rightful spots. She felt a deep sense of purpose in her work, knowing that she played a part in shaping the community's relationship with knowledge and technology. The library was a beacon of hope in an often chaotic world, a reminder that learning never truly ends, and that everyone deserves access to information. With the last patrons leaving and the lights dimming, Clara locked the doors behind her, feeling a mix of exhaustion and satisfaction. Each day in the life of a librarian was a tapestry woven with stories, challenges, and triumphs. Clara knew that tomorrow would bring new faces and new challenges, but for now, she was content, ready to rest and dream of the many stories yet to be told within the walls of her beloved library. See you in Section 2, Helping Hands, Assisting Patrons Later. Thank you for your watching. Please don't hesitate to hit the subscribe button to get the updates. Thank you.
Welcome to the Knowledge Bridge channel. Thank you for watching the first section. Now we move on the second section about the heart of the library, connecting with readers. In the heart of the library, where the scent of aged paper mingles with the faint aroma of freshly brewed coffee, a world unfolds, vibrant and alive. It is a sanctuary, a refuge for the curious and the weary alike. Each day, as the sun spills its golden light through the tall windows, illuminating the stacks, the librarian stands ready to welcome a tapestry of patrons, each with their own stories and quests for knowledge. The morning begins with the soft sound of footsteps echoing across the polished wooden floor. A young mother enters, her toddler perched on her hip, eyes wide with wonder. They wander towards the children's section, where colorful picture books beckon from the shelves. The librarian kneels down to their level, a smile spreading across her face. "What kind of adventure are we looking for today?" she asks, engaging the little one with a gentle tone. The child's eyes light up at the mention of pirates, and soon they are lost in a world of treasure maps and high seas. The mother watches, her initial hesitation fading as she sees her child's excitement. It's moments like these that reaffirm the librarian's purpose, to ignite a love of reading that can last a lifetime. As the day unfolds, the library becomes a vibrant hub of activity. An elderly gentleman approaches the reference desk, his brow furrowed in concentration. He's searching for information on local history, eager to uncover the stories of his ancestors. The librarian listens attentively, her heart swelling with empathy. She knows the importance of these connections, the threads that weave through generations. Together, they delve into archives, flipping through dusty volumes and exploring digital databases. With each discovery, the gentleman's face brightens, and the librarian feels a profound joy in being a guide on this journey. It's not just about finding facts, it's about connecting him to his roots, to a past that shapes his identity. As the afternoon sun begins its descent, a group of teenagers burst through the doors, laughter spilling into the quiet space. They are seeking the latest fantasy novels, eager to escape into worlds of magic and adventure. The librarian greets them with enthusiasm, her own love for literature shining through. She engages them in conversation, asking about their favorite authors and genres. With each recommendation, she sees their eyes light up, their imaginations igniting. She hands them a book that has enchanted her, sharing her own experiences and the lessons she gleaned from its pages. The joy of connecting with these young minds, of passing on the torch of literary passion, fills her with a sense of fulfillment. Throughout the day, the library serves as a microcosm of the community, a melting pot of cultures and backgrounds. A newcomer, freshly arrived from another country, approaches the librarian, hesitant but hopeful. They struggle with the language, but their desire to learn is palpable. The librarian patiently assists, guiding them to resources that can help bridge the gap. Together, they explore language learning books, and the librarian shares tips and local resources, encouraging them to immerse themselves in the community. In that moment, the library transcends its role as a mere repository of books. It becomes a beacon of support, a place where individuals can find their footing in a new world. As the sun dips below the horizon, casting a warm glow through the windows, the librarian reflects on the day's encounters. Each patron, each question, and each recommendation weaves a richer tapestry of connection. She understands that her role extends beyond shelving books. She is a champion of lifelong learning, a trusted source of information, and a bridge between stories and lives. The library is not just a building filled with books. It is a living entity, pulsating with the energy of its patrons. It is a space where dreams are nurtured, knowledge is shared, and communities are built. In the heart of the library, the joy of literature thrives, and the librarian stands as its devoted guardian, ready to inspire the next generation of readers and thinkers. We will go ahead to the section 3 about behind the scenes, cataloging and organizing later. Please subscribe and get notifications for new video. Thank you. See you soon.
Welcome to the Knowledge Bridge channel. Today we continue the third section, mentioned above, the cataloging and organizing. Please move on the section. The sun had barely begun to rise, casting a soft glow over the sleepy town, as the librarian, Clara, stepped into the library. The familiar scent of aged paper and polished wood greeted her like an old friend. It was a quiet sanctuary before the world stirred to life, and Clara cherished these moments of solitude. She placed her bag on the front desk, took a deep breath, and prepared herself for the day ahead. First on her agenda was the ritual of checking her emails. She settled into her chair, the worn leather creaking gently beneath her. The glow of the computer screen illuminated her face as she clicked through the messages. There were reminders about upcoming meetings, notifications from the Library Association, and a flurry of inquiries from patrons. Clara made mental notes as she skimmed through each email, prioritizing the requests that needed immediate attention. A request for a book recommendation from a local high school student caught her eye, and she smiled, remembering her own teenage years spent lost in stories. Once the digital correspondence was sorted, Clara turned her attention to the tangible world around her. She grabbed a steaming cup of coffee from the small kitchen nook, the warmth of the mug comforting her hands. With a sip of the rich brew, she felt the familiar surge of energy that would fuel her morning. The library was still quiet, but she knew that wouldn't last long. She moved to the back room, where boxes of new books awaited her attention. Each volume was a portal to a different world, and Clara felt a thrill of excitement as she began the process of cataloging them. She carefully unwrapped the first book, its crisp cover gleaming under the fluorescent lights. The title, a contemporary novel about love and loss, spoke to her, and she couldn't help but skim the first few pages before entering the details into the library system. Each book was a promise to the community, a chance for someone to find joy, knowledge, or solace within its pages. As she worked, she imagined the readers who would soon discover these stories, their lives touched in ways she could only hope for. With the new arrivals processed, Clara turned her attention to organizing the shelves. The library was a labyrinth of knowledge, and it was her job to ensure that every book found its rightful place. She grabbed a cart and began to pull misplaced volumes from the shelves, carefully dusting them off before returning them to their homes. The rhythmic sound of books sliding into place was soothing, and Clara relished the order it brought to the space. Each shelf, meticulously arranged, was a testament to her dedication, a promise of accessibility for everyone who wandered through the doors. As she worked, she glanced at the calendar hanging on the wall. The upcoming events were highlighted in bright colors, and Clara's heart raced with anticipation. There was a children's storytelling hour scheduled for Saturday, and she had prepared an engaging lineup of tales that would spark imagination and laughter. The thought of the little ones gathered around her, wide-eyed and enchanted, filled her with warmth. She made a mental note to gather supplies for crafts afterward, ensuring that the event would be a memorable experience. The clock ticked steadily, and Clara knew she had to wrap up her morning tasks. She moved to the community bulletin board, pinning up flyers for the upcoming book club meeting and the local authors' signing event. Each poster was a beacon, inviting patrons to engage with their library in new and exciting ways. She stood back to admire her work, a sense of pride swelling within her. This was more than just a job. It was a commitment to her community, a way to foster connection and learning. As the first patrons began to trickle in, Clara felt a rush of satisfaction. The library was ready for them, a haven of knowledge and imagination. Her morning routine, filled with small but significant tasks, had set the stage for a day of discovery and community engagement. Clara smiled, knowing that every book processed, every shelf organized, and every event planned contributed to the heart of the library, making it a welcoming place for all who entered. Thank you for watching. We will continue the next section about connecting with patrons, from research to recreation and beyond. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to give your positive comments. Welcome back to the Knowledge Bridge channel and series of A Day of a Librarian. In Section 4, we mention about connecting with patrons, from research to recreation and beyond. Let's move on the main content. The sun cast a warm glow through the large windows of the library, illuminating the rows of books and the quiet spaces where patrons immerse themselves in worlds both familiar and unknown. In this sanctuary of knowledge, the role of the librarian had evolved dramatically, embracing the digital age while still honoring the traditional essence of the library. At a long table near the back, a student named Mia sat hunched over her laptop, frustration evident in her furrowed brow. She was deep into her research project on climate change, but the myriad of information online had left her feeling overwhelmed and lost. Just as she was about to give up, Sarah, the librarian, approached her with a warm smile. "Looks like you could use some help," Sarah said, pulling up a chair beside Mia. "I just can't find the right sources," Mia admitted, her voice tinged with anxiety. "There's so much out there. I don't know where to start. Let's tackle this together," Sarah suggested. She guided Mia to the library's online databases, a treasure trove of academic journals, articles, and credible sources. With a few clicks, Sarah showed Mia how to filter results by date and relevance, helping her hone in on the most pertinent information for her project. "See? You can access peer-reviewed articles here. They're much more reliable than random blog posts," Sarah explained, her enthusiasm contagious. As they navigated the digital landscape together, Mia's eyes lit up with understanding. The library wasn't just a place filled with books. It was a gateway to a world of information, curated and accessible at her fingertips. Meanwhile, in another corner of the library, a young man named Alex was exploring the 3D printing station. He had always been fascinated by technology and design, and today he was eager to bring his latest idea to life. A custom phone holder that would fit his unique style. The library had recently introduced 3D printing services, and Alex was excited to utilize this innovative resource. As he approached the station, he was greeted by another librarian, Tom, who specialized in technology and maker services. "Hey there, what are you working on today?" Tom asked, his excitement palpable. "I want to print a phone holder," Alex replied, showing Tom his design on his laptop. "Great choice! Let's see if we can get it set up for you," Tom said, guiding Alex through the process of uploading his design to the printer. As the machine whirred to life, Alex watched in awe, his imagination turning into tangible reality. The library was more than just a repository of books. It had transformed into a hub of innovation, where creativity met technology, and ideas could take shape. In yet another part of the library, a young girl named Lily sat cross-legged on the floor, her eyes wide with curiosity as she clutched a tablet. Her mother had brought her to the library to explore the world of ebooks, and today, she was determined to borrow her first digital book. "Can you help me, please?" Lily asked, looking up at Sarah, who had just finished assisting Mia. "Of course! Let's find something fun for you to read," Sarah replied, kneeling down to Lily's level. She patiently walked her through the library's ebook borrowing process, showing her how to navigate the app and search for titles that piqued her interest. "Look! There's a whole series about a magical unicorn!" Lily exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "That sounds perfect! Let's borrow it together," Sarah said, guiding her through the final steps. With a few taps, Lily had her first ebook ready to read. As she held the tablet triumphantly, Sarah smiled, knowing that this moment was not just about borrowing a book. It was about instilling a love for reading and digital literacy in the next generation. In this library, connections were forged not just through the pages of books, but through the shared experiences of learning, creation, and exploration. It was a vibrant community hub, where the past and future intertwined, and every patron found a place to grow, innovate, and discover. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the content of this series. Please give your comments and subscribe button.
Welcome to the Knowledge Section 5 of the series of A Day in the Life of a Librarian. In Section 5, we will talk about Beyond Books, the library as a cultural hub. Let's move on. In the heart of a bustling town, nestled between a cozy cafe and a vibrant art studio, stood a library that had become more than just a repository of books. It was a sanctuary of stories, a hub of creativity, and a gathering place for the community. Clara, the librarian, had dedicated her life to transforming the library into a dynamic space where imagination flourished and connections blossomed. Each week, she eagerly prepared for the Children's Book Club, an event that had become a cherished tradition for many families. As the sun filtered through the large windows, casting playful shadows on the wooden floor, Clara set up the reading area with colourful cushions and a small table adorned with a vibrant display of books. This week's selection was a delightful tale about a brave little mouse who embarked on an adventure to find his lost family. Clara knew that the story would ignite the children's imaginations and spark their curiosity. She arranged the books in a way that invited the children to explore, each cover a promise of adventure waiting to be uncovered. When the children began to arrive, their faces lit up with excitement. Their laughter echoed through the library, a sound that Clara had come to cherish. She welcomed them with open arms, encouraging them to pick a book that caught their eye while they waited for their friends. As the last child settled in, Clara gathered them in a circle, her heart swelling with joy at the sight of their eager faces. "Today, we're going to embark on a journey with our little mouse friend," Clara announced, her voice warm and inviting. The children leaned in closer, their eyes wide with anticipation. As she read, Clara animated the characters, her voice rising and falling with each twist and turn of the story. The children giggled at the mouse's antics and gasped at the challenges he faced. Clara paused occasionally, allowing the children to share their thoughts, fostering an atmosphere of dialogue and connection. After the story, Clara led a discussion about bravery and friendship, encouraging the children to reflect on their own experiences. "What does it mean to be brave?" she asked, her eyes sparkling with encouragement. Hands shot up in the air, each child eager to share their own stories of courage. In that moment, the library transformed into a space of shared experiences, where children learned not just from the books, but from each other, creating bonds that extended beyond the walls of the library. But Clara's mission extended far beyond story time. The library was also a venue for workshops, author talks, and community events that brought people together. She recalled the recent workshop on creative writing, where local authors shared their journeys and inspired young writers to put pen to paper. The excitement in the room had been palpable, as children scribbled stories filled with dragons and superheroes, their imaginations taking flight. Clara also organized monthly author talks, inviting writers from various genres to share their experiences and answer questions. The library buzzed with energy as families gathered to hear tales of adventure and creativity. Each event was an opportunity for the community to connect, to learn, and to celebrate the power of storytelling. Clara believed that these interactions were just as important as the books themselves. They fostered a sense of belonging and encouraged creativity in ways that transcended the written word. As the book club came to a close, Clara watched the children leave, their arms laden with books and their hearts full of stories. She felt a profound sense of fulfillment, knowing that the library was not just a place for reading, but a vibrant community space where ideas flourished and friendships formed. In Clara's eyes, the library was a living entity, a dynamic space that nurtured creativity and connection, where every child could discover the magic of stories and the joy of community. One more section to come to complete this series. We hope you find some points of the matter for this series. Thank you and see you again in the final section. Welcome to the Knowledge Bridge channel. Finally, we move to the last section of the series about a day in the life of a librarian. We hope you have a final thoughts, the impact of librarians. As the day draws to a close and the last patrons quietly exit, the librarian takes a moment to reflect on the countless stories that have unfolded within these walls. Each book borrowed, each question answered, every smile exchanged. These are the threads that weave together the fabric of a vibrant community. The library is more than just a building filled with books. It is a living, breathing space where curiosity is nurtured, ideas are born, and lifelong learning is celebrated. The librarian thinks of the young child who timidly approached the desk, searching for a book about dinosaurs, and left with a stack of stories and a newfound excitement for reading. They remember the teenager who found solace in the quiet corners, using the library as a sanctuary to study and dream about the future. The elderly patron who comes not just for the latest bestseller, but for the warmth of a familiar face and a friendly conversation. Each interaction, no matter how small, leaves an imprint, a reminder that libraries are places where everyone belongs. In an age of rapid technological change, the importance of libraries has not diminished. In fact, it has grown. Libraries are gateways to knowledge, offering access to information that empowers individuals to make informed decisions, pursue their passions, and participate fully in society. Whether it's providing free internet access, hosting workshops on digital literacy, or curating resources for lifelong learning, libraries adapt to meet the evolving needs of their communities. But the impact of a library goes beyond the resources it offers. It is a hub of social interaction, a place where people from all walks of life come together. Book clubs, story times, community events, and quiet study sessions all contribute to a sense of belonging and shared purpose. The librarian sees firsthand how these connections spark creativity, foster empathy, and build bridges between generations and cultures. Promoting literacy remains at the heart of the library's mission. By championing reading and learning, librarians help to break down barriers and open doors to opportunity. They guide patrons through the vast sea of information, teaching critical thinking skills and nurturing a love of discovery. In doing so, they plant the seeds for a more informed, engaged, and compassionate society. As the lights dim and the shelves stand quiet for another night, the librarian feels a deep sense of pride and responsibility. Every day brings new challenges and opportunities, but the goal remains the same: to serve as a steward of knowledge and a champion for the community. The impact of their work is not always visible, but it resonates in the lives of those who walk through the doors, seeking answers, inspiration, or simply a place to belong. Now more than ever, libraries need the support of their communities. They are treasures that thrive when people use them, advocate for them, and help them grow. If you have not visited your local library recently, consider this an invitation. Step inside, explore its resources, meet the dedicated staff, and discover all that it has to offer. Whether you are looking for a good book, a quiet place to work, or a connection to your neighbors, the library is here for you. Experience the benefits of your local library firsthand. Join in the journey of learning, discovery, and community. By supporting your library, You help ensure that its impact endures for generations to come. Thank you so much for your attention to follow the whole series